Hey, this is Dr. Reyes, head physicians of medicine down in North Texas. So I want to talk about comprehensive physical exams for my patients. And if you happen to find this on YouTube, this is probably good information before you go see your doctor, but each practice is specific. This will be geared at my patients who are coming to see me, but hopefully you'll also get some benefit if you're not my patient. So what is a comprehensive physical exam? It's also known as the annual. And it is a visit designed just to focus on prevention. So we want to give a lot of time and dedicated time just for prevention. This is not the time to renew medications or to have something else diagnosed, to talk about insomnia and so forth. So this is a visit designed to look at your screenings and your immunizations and to make sure that those are up to date as much as possible. And the rest of the agenda today, I'll talk about what orders are typically done and what I like to add in my practice. So uh, this is where we review not just cancer screenings, but other age-appropriate screenings, and we also review the immunization status. So when you talk about orders, most of the time the insurance company pays for the visit, or it's a free visit. I mean, we're paying for the insurance, so but there is usually no copay associated with annual exams if you don't go outside of the rules of the insurance company. So most of the orders are going to be covered. And then this is the time we look at the screening. And so there's other screening, but we'll use cancer as an example. And so this is the time, are you eligible? Is it time to go get colon cancer screening? Is it time for that colonoscopy or Cologuard? Those are the top two that I usually order for my patients. Let's talk about lung cancer screening and get into that. Is it time to consider a bone density, right? And so we look at those screenings during this visit. We also look at what immunizations you could be deficient for, right? So it's time, this is the allocated time to take that deep dive. And so when you're coming in, some of these options that we've got is these additional labs that the insurance may or may not cover. And each practice, each physician may have his or her own style and their own recommendations on how he or she was trained. And so it's impossible with 100% certainty to always say that one is covered and not the other, because when you're the boss or the king, insurance companies, health insurance companies are the king, they change the rules all the time. So I'd like to just make sure you're aware that I like to, in my practice, to order vitamin D, B12, inflammatory markers, and ESR is an inflammatory marker. CRP is to measure your cardiovascular risk. Now, the insurance company may not want to pay for that. So in my practice, if you're coming in to see me for your annual, I need you to decide if you want these ordered or not. And to make it simple, we separate these on a separate lab sheet order. So you can ask the lab downstairs or wherever you take my lab orders and ask them, hey, is this going to be covered? If not, maybe you just pay cash for it. Always ask for a cash price. You'll be surprised how inexpensive things are when you don't try to bill it to your insurance. The other option you may have if you come see me is an EKG. So most of the time, I would say I don't have any numbers, but I see it's so variable. The insurance company may cover this as prevention, especially if you're above age 40. I like to get it at a little bit younger because people have heart attacks in their late 20s. Okay. And so your worst case scenario, it's not like this is going to be a $500 test. It's probably at worst a $35 charge. If you're coming in to see me, please have that decision made so you can just tell my staff, yes, I do want that EKG and I want those additional labs. What about a chest X-ray? Well, most of the time, this is a antiquated practice, but it's still being covered by most insurances. You can get a chest X-ray, and I could not find the documentation on where the basis for performing chest X-rays as an annual, where did that practice come from? It predates me and my practice, but it is usually covered by the insurance company. And your worst case scenario, if it's not, is maybe the insurance price will be $50, but if you ask for the cash price, it's probably like 10, 25. Don't quote me on that though. So what are we looking for with an annual chest X-ray? Well, the radiologist is really looking for big masses. So if there's a big mass somewhere, then maybe it's TB, maybe it's going to be a lung cancer. It can also sometimes suggest osteoporosis or thinning of the bones, depending on who's reading it. But that is something, if you want the chest X-ray, please let us know. So if you're coming to see me, I need to know, do you want the additional labs? Do you want the EKG? And generally over 40, I recommend it. It's usually covered, but worst case scenario, 35. Worst case scenario for a chest X-ray that's not covered by your insurance is going to be, maybe 50 at most. So what about the results? So let me walk you through what the typical is. That you come in, you're gonna, we'll get your vital signs. We'll do a physical exam. We'll review your chart, go over prevention, go over what immunizations you need, do the EKG, order the labs. And then once all these things are done, I usually bring you back within 2 weeks for a result, and that is what we call an evaluation and management. Um, Follow-up visit, so you have a deductible. You'd be paying for this visit. In my practice, this is a perfect opportunity to use telemedicine to review the results of the EKG, chest X-ray, and a lab. So that makes it very nice in case you're far from my practice, or if you just happen to be traveling, we can go over that. I hope this helps. This is what is a comprehensive physical exam, also known as an annual. What should we be talking about? What we really shouldn't be? What should the focus be? And so if you're coming into my practice, this is what you can expect. And please have the decisions on those optional items during the annual that may not be covered, and you'll be prepared to say okay, and we can save a lot of time about discussing, oh, is it covered or not, and you're like, yeah, okay, here he covered it in the video. All right, I'll see you soon, or see you at the next visit or the next video.